I'm Elaine Kamarck. I'm a senior fellow here at the Brookings Institution. I run the Center for Effective Public Management, and I'm a political scientist by training who's also served in the government. Article 2 states that the president can be impeached for bribery, treason, or high crimes and misdemeanors. It is triggered by an investigation that begins in the House Judiciary Committee. And the House Judiciary Committee, as a result of its investigation, draws up what they call articles of impeachment. The articles of impeachment are then sent to the floor of the House of Representatives, which votes on them. If they vote impeachment, then the whole system moves to the United States Senate for a trial. The first impeachment was President Andrew Johnson in 1868. He was really not impeached for high crimes and misdemeanors or bribery or treason. His impeachment was really the result of a serious disagreement with the Congress over Reconstruction and all sorts of other political issues attached to it. Ever since then, it's been felt that you shouldn't impeach a president because you disagree with him or her on policy, because that, in fact, begins to then weaken the separation of powers. The next impeachment we had of a president was, of course, Richard Nixon. And there, it was much clearer. The issue was not a policy issue. In fact, Richard Nixon did many things that Democrats agreed with. There, the issue was obstruction of justice. Finally, the third impeachment vote we've had was of Bill Clinton for the affair he had with Monica Lewinsky. And they did try to say that he used obstruction of justice. So we've had 3 examples of presidential impeachment. It's a delicate process because of the separation of powers, but it is the sort of ultimate way that we can hold a president or a member of the judiciary accountable. There are many issues in the Trump administration, all of which could conceivably result in the creation of articles of impeachment. One of them, of course, is the whole emoluments clause, a little obscure piece of the Constitution that nobody even knew about until Donald Trump became president. And that has to do with him continuing to be involved in his business. If it is shown that there's any personal involvement of the president in the Russian hacking into the Democratic National Committee, that could be grounds of impeachment. And if there's shown that the president has tried to obstruct justice in any way by, for instance, saying to the director of the FBI that he should maybe back off from his investigations into the Russian connections, that could be grounds for impeachment. So suddenly, a little bit over 100 days into this administration, there are a lot of things swirling around that could conceivably end up in the construction of articles of impeachment in the House. The president's own party has to get on board with an impeachment vote. And for that to happen, it means probably that the president's supporters in the electorate need to have lost faith in him or believe that he has done something worthy of being tossed out of office. And that shows you that there is a political dimension to this, even though there are also legal grounds. We should remember that impeachment is very difficult. It takes months, if not years. Democrats in the summer of 1972 were really jumping to the conclusion and saying, oh my goodness, Richard Nixon did this, he should be impeached, etc. It took from June of 1972 to August of 1974 before articles of impeachment were brought out of the Judiciary Committee and Richard Nixon resigned. Because there is a legal aspect and a political aspect to it, and they have to move in tandem. When Richard Nixon resigned, his approval ratings were 22 to 25% of the American public. So it requires a length of time for people to kind of understand the charges, understand the problems, and decide whether or not they think the problems are serious enough that a president they elected should be turned out of office. So that's why this takes a while to play out.